Yes, let me see how you do. 2 minutes each. Start with Dorothy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I first want to really thank the vetting committee and you as the chair for the excellent job undertaken. And I want to thank His Excellency for picking on competent, expert and experienced individuals to be cabinet secretaries in his government. Honorable Speaker, I straight away want to go to Honorable Mutahi Kagwe. Agriculture is the backbone of this country and it can leverage on new technology, especially, Honorable Speaker, to invest in dry land to supplement crop production in the wetlands. As I say that, Honorable Speaker, I also wish to say all other crops which have been gazetted, the government has been very keen in opening new markets for these crops. And I want to say one crop that looks like it has been forgotten as much as it's cash crop gazetted in this country is the Mira crop. And I wish that the CS Agriculture will fast track this crop and look for markets for the Mira crop, so that the farmers in that area of the country can also benefit and reap big from this country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Kenny, was it Lisa first or Kenny first?
It was me first.
Lisa first. Kenny, take your seat. Give to Lisa Chelule. Iko moja pale. My clerks, why are you misfiring today?
Asante sana Bwana Spika kunipatia nafasi pia nichangie kwa mjadala ambaye imeletwa katika National Assembly na Majority Leader wetu. Na nataka kuchukua hii nafasi kupongeza Rais kwa kuteua hawa watendakazi watatu na wengi ambayo tuliwapitisha asubuhi. Napongeza Rais kwa niaba ya watu ya Nakuru. Bwana Spika, nataka kuongea juu ya Waziri Mutahi Kagwe ambaye tulifanya kazi na yeye katika Senate na namjua kwa utekelezi yake ya kazi. Ningependa tu kuchukua hii nafasi nimweleze Mheshimiwa Mutahi Kagwe kwamba kuna mimea ambaye ni kama imesaulika na mimea huu ni pyrethrum. Nakuru County ni moja ya counties ambaye wanapanda pyrethrum kwa wingi. Pyrethrum ni mmea ambaye tulitumia sana wakati yake kusomesha watoto wetu kule Nakuru. Kwa hivyo ninaomba Mutahi Kagwe akikuja kuanza kazi washikane pamoja na Lee ambaye tunajua pia kazi yake. Kwa niaba ya watu ya Nakuru ninajua tutafaidika na vijana watapata kazi. Kina mama pia wamejitokesha kuwa wakulima wa maziwa, kwa ng'ombe ya maziwa. Kwa hivyo nina hakika kwamba Mutahi Kagwe atatekeleza kazi. Otherwise nawatakia mema na I wish all of you colleagues a happy 2025. Thank you.
Kenny.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the opportunity. I really want to offer my voice in supporting the three wise men who have been appointed to our cabinet. Indeed, they bring with them a lot of competences, various competences, experiences, and their braveness and commitment to work. Mr. Speaker, I really want to say that to Mr. Mutahi Kagwe, this is one man who has been vilified and demonized in our county of Nyeri, suggested that it doesn't matter, but to him I tell him, it matters to Kenya that there will be food on the table, enough for all Kenyans. He is not appointed particularly for the people of Nyeri. So he should take heart, take courage, that Kenyans are looking upon him to make sure that there is enough for everybody and all the times. Not saying that, not also failing to note that also Mr. Honorable Kabogo, when he was the Governor Emeritus for Kiambu, he gave his best, and particularly he showed commitment to healthy delivery services in Kiambu. Also Kinyajui, having delivered Nakuru as a city, it took him a lot of time, a lot of courage, and a lot of knowledge. Mr. Speaker, sir, Having said that, I didn't want to encourage all of them to give their best. Thank you. I wish them well in their service. Let them bring their wisdom, and we all work towards doing something for this country. Mr. Speaker, I don't follow simple people. I follow great minds. And that is why in 2017, I offered myself to deputize Mutai.
Very good. Women Rep Kilifi.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika, wacha nichukue fursa hii kukupongeza, kuombea kila mtu mwaka mpya mwema 2025. Tuombe ushirikiano, kufanya kazi pamoja. Muhimu Mheshimiwa Spika, nipongeze wateule wa waziri hawa watatu. Nazungumze kuhusu Mheshimiwa Kabogo. Sijafanya kazi vizuri karibu naye, lakini kwa sababu ameletwa katika wizara ya mambo na dijitali, ni ombi langu kwake kuwa ataweza kushirikiana na Wakenya wote na hasa vijana, ambapo anaingia wakati vijana wako vizuri kidijitali, na hatutataka wawe wataendelea kutumia mitandao vibaya. Aone vipi atatafutia kazi za kidijitali vijana wote ambao wanahangaika, wanasumbuka na wanatoa maneno wanaotoa kwa sababu wako tu bure, hawana kazi. Kuna kazi nyingi sana za kidijitali anaweza kuwatafutia na waweze kujikimu. Langu kwa Mheshimiwa Mutahi Kagwe, nilimjua akiwa waziri wa afya. Sasa amepelekwa wizara ya kilimo, pale alipo anisikie naitwa Mheshimiwa Mbeyu wa Kilifi. Tunataka ile mimea ya kule pwani, mkorosho, minazi, tuweze kuregeshewa, japo kilimo kimegatuliwa, aweze kushirikiana na county government ya Kilifi, tuone vipi mimea yetu biashara, mkorosho, maembe na nazi zimeweza kupata faida.
Majority Leader, reply now. You all agree that we assign 1 hour to each of these motions.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to take this opportunity first to thank all the members for the contributions and for their support to these nominees who are vetted under your chairmanship, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in reply, let me just say I've listened to many of the contributors and their sentiments, and it's important, Honorable Speaker, to re-emphasize that as many of the contributors to this motion have said, cabinet secretaries come into office to serve all the people of Kenya and the government of the day, and they serve not just the regions they come from, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it's also important that, as has been said by many people, that even these nominees and even those others who are serving in cabinet today, to recognize that they not only have a collective responsibility in their service to the people of Kenya, but also to carry themselves with the decorum and integrity that behoves of their offices, Honorable Speaker. If any of our cabinet secretaries feels that the president has reassigned them to a ministry that they think is lower than whichever other ministry that they were in, Honorable Speaker, the honorable thing to do is, if you feel the ministry you are serving in is too small for you and you're too big for that ministry, simply resign. If you think, Honorable Speaker, that you are reassigned to a ministry where you are not able to extort money from people as you used to extort in any other, Honorable Speaker, and you can't say to the public, and you now want to pretend that you are holier than thou, and we know you, and you know if you are about to be fired, don't pretend that you are either resigning or asking to be fired. Honorable Speaker, just go. And it is not just those who are serving, even these ones that we are approving today. This House will oversight all these cabinet secretaries without regard as to where they came from, what political affiliation they are coming from, because, Honorable Speaker, in the spirit of the broad-based government, we have cabinet secretaries who are serving this country who were not part and parcel of the Kenya Kwanza campaign trail. But the country is bigger than Kenya Kwanza, Honorable Speaker. The country or the government of the day serves all Kenyans, Honorable Speaker. And I must commend the President for seeing beyond his political party, for seeing beyond the coalition that he campaigned under, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I must commend the cabinet secretaries who came from ODM. The Honorable John Buddy, the Honorable Pio Andai, the Honorable Joho, the Honorable Oparanya, even the Honorable Askul. These are cabinet secretaries who are serving this country with diligence, with integrity, and with commitment to the people of Kenya. You do not serve as a cabinet secretary to serve the president of the day. You serve the people of Kenya. It is Kenyan taxpayers who pay your salary. Serve with honor, serve with diligence, serve with the commitment that you have served in for these three nominees, Honorable Speaker. And even those cabinet secretaries who are in office today, Honorable Speaker, as we continue to oversight them, let me say we will oversight them. But let me also say we will not waste any more of our parliamentary time to impeach a cabinet secretary. Honorable Speaker, cabinet secretaries are not people to waste our time with. The honorable thing for a cabinet secretary who feels they have failed on their job, or they are too big for the current job that they are holding, is to resign. They should not waste our time, or even waste the president's time. But the president has a prerogative to hire, fire, and also reassign. And therefore, when you serve in a ministry, there is no ministry that is more important than the other, or any state department that is more important than the other, if your motivation is service to the people of Kenya. But if your motivation is extortion, if your motivation is deals in government, then you will find that maybe this particular department of state is better than the ministry I'm currently serving in, because probably you are not able to get the kind of deals you are getting in another office, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, with those many remarks, because I can see we have good numbers, I beg to reply, Honorable Speaker, and ask this House to approve these cabinet secretaries to go forth and serve the people of Kenya. And I want to believe, as they committed to the people of Kenya during their vetting process, they will serve with diligence, they will serve with integrity, they will serve all Kenyans to improve the lot of all Kenyans, improve our economy through the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I support and I beg to reply. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Sorry to the members who wanted to speak, but because of time, we didn't get space. But listening to all of you, I think the chorus was one. You are all supporting. There was no dissent. So those who spoke, spoke for all of us. I'll now put the question at order number 12, which is that taking into consideration the findings of the Committee on Appointments in its fourth report on the vetting of the nominees for appointment as cabinet secretaries laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 16th January 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 152(2) of the Constitution and Section 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, this House approves the appointment of the following persons as cabinet secretaries: Honorable Mutai Kakwe, EGH, Agriculture and Livestock Development; Honorable William Kabogo, Information, Communication and the Digital Economy; Honorable Lee Kinyanjui, Investments, Trade and Industry. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Those of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 13, motion, consideration of Senate amendments to the Gambling Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 70 of 2023.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this is a very short motion, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that, looking for the supplementary order paper. That the House considers that the Senate amendments to the Gambling Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 70 of 2023 be now considered. Honorable Speaker, this Gambling Control Bill is a bill that this House passed early last year, you remember, together with the Betting Control Bill, and because it had provisions that touch on county governments, it was conveyed to the Senate for consideration, and the Senate did move a number of amendments which have since been considered by the Committee for Sports under the chairmanship of Honorable Wanyama. And Honorable Speaker, the committee in its report which they tabled towards the tail end of the last session recommended that we object or we reject all the Senate amendments, Honorable Speaker. And many of the amendments, Honorable Speaker, that are being amended, that were amended by the Senate and which the committee has proposed that we reject, counter to the provisions of articles of the Constitution touching on the different functions of the two levels of government between the national government and the county functions. They are also contrary to the provisions of Article 109 of the Constitution on the exercise of legislative powers. Honorable Speaker, maybe for clarity, Article 109, Honorable Speaker, says that Parliament shall exercise its legislative power through bills passed by Parliament and assigned to the President. And Parliament in this instance means both chambers of Parliament. But any bill may originate from the National Assembly. 3 says that a bill not concerning county government is considered only in the National Assembly and passed in accordance with Article 122. And because this bill did concern counties, that is why it was not only considered by the National Assembly alone, and we took it to the Senate. 4 is that a bill concerning county governments may originate in the National Assembly, like this bill, or the Senate, and is passed in accordance with Articles 110 and 113, 122 and 123 of the standing orders. And 5, a bill may be introduced by any member or committee of the relevant House of Parliament, but a money bill may be introduced only in the National Assembly in accordance with Article 114. Honorable Speaker, many of the amendments that were inserted into this bill from the Senate are amendments that touch on or that had a money bill effect, and therefore making this bill, which originally was not a money bill, a money bill. And therefore, there is no way that this House, under Article 109 of the Constitution, would allow the Senate to usurp the powers of the National Assembly in terms of introducing bills that have a money bill effect. Because, Honorable Speaker, it is the Constitution that says that only the National Assembly may consider bills that have a money bill effect. Whether it is the imposition of taxes, levies, or charges to Kenyans or from the Exchequer, Honorable Speaker, that can only be done by the National Assembly. And therefore, many of the amendments, Honorable Speaker, that you will see that were done by the Senate touched on imposition of taxation, imposition of levies, imposition of penalties and charges, things that can only be done by this House, Honorable Speaker. And I know, Honorable Speaker, there are people in the Senate who thought that it's an ingenious way of introducing such provisions, then take this bill to mediation to consider these bills. And Honorable Speaker, I want to implore on you, when and if we reject these amendments and we go into mediation, all the clauses that touch or have a money bill effect, Honorable Speaker, I would beg that you do ask the House or the mediation committee not to consider those clauses, because it will be unconstitutional. Completely unconstitutional, Honorable Speaker. 2, Honorable Speaker, besides those provisions being unconstitutional having been introduced in the Senate, it is also not possible to re-legislate on certain things that we have already legislated on. Towards the tail end of the last session, Honorable Speaker, we legislated on the Tax Procedures Act bill, which is now an act of Parliament. We legislated on the Tax Amendment Bill, which is now an act of Parliament. some of the provisions that the Senate had amended to in this bill are covered under the Tax Amendment Act of 2024. And therefore, reintroducing the same clauses in this bill, Honorable Speaker, again will be unprocedural, against our own standing orders, unconstitutional, illegal, null and void. And therefore, I would beg that, Honorable Speaker, when you are making your determination on the clauses that will be mediated on, you do direct that the mediation committee, when we form one, seizes or does not consider some of these provisions that are unconstitutional and have already been legislated on, especially touching on the money bill provisions, Honorable Speaker, because we cannot allow the Senate as a lower house to take over the mandate of the upper house. And you know, Honorable Speaker, I have never used those words in my almost 13 years in this house, which house is upper to which one. Because it's not important, Honorable Speaker, but it is important to adhere to the provision of this Constitution. The drafters of this Constitution had reasons as to why they did not give powers to appropriate resources to the Senate. They had reasons why they never gave powers to the Senate to levy taxation or even fees and levies to Kenyans. And they had reason why they said that the Senate represents the counties and the National Assembly represents the people of Kenya. And therefore, it is only those who represent the people of Kenya who can impose taxation on them. The Senate cannot go behind our backs, Honorable Speaker, and begin to impose taxes, then pretend that we can come and mediate on taxation. We cannot mediate on tax matters with the Senate, Honorable Speaker. And that I want to beg the House to agree with the Committee of Sports and reject in totality all the amendments that came from the Senate. And we can then mediate on all the other clauses except those that touch on the money bill, that have a money bill effect. With those, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move, and I want to ask the Honorable Karoli Omondi, who I believe is a member of this committee, to second. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.